If you want to have the fastest progression in the game, you are in the right place. Endless Ragnarok is a massive game when it comes to features, and committing mistakes in this game is almost guaranteed for a lot of beginners and returning players alike. As your fellow player who has already reached the hardest difficulty and has more than 1,000 hours of experience, here are the top 11 major mistakes that you should avoid. These tips will save you hundreds of hours of potential wasted time so you can reach the end game in the quickest time possible. Endless Ragnarok overhauled the weapon progression big time by introducing transcended weapons. Transcended weapons basically are better versions of your normal, ascension, and terminus weapons, and this chart clearly shows how the weapon progression works. But it could be confusing which one to upgrade first since you have 4 types of transcended weapons to choose from. To be fair, you will max all of these weapons eventually, but you will still need to pick one when starting the DLC. A lot of players are choosing the Stinger type weapons because of their super high raw attack stat even after a few upgrades. And let me tell you that this is a major big mistake. The Stinger type high raw attack stat will be such a waste if you do this, since your damage cap in early DLC progress is so limited. Not to mention that Stinger types have not so good weapon passives. I will be diving into damage cap mechanic later on, so stay tuned for that. You can never go wrong with either Defender type weapon, especially if you are still adjusting to the game's combat. Defender type weapons allows your character to reach 200k HP or more, which is pretty useful in Chaos++ difficulty by not getting one shot. The damage cap ecru will also give you a flat 50% attack and 260% damage cap increase when at 200k HP, which is relatively easy to reach in the latest version of the game. Not to mention that the character building meta was changed and it is a priority to slot in stun power and health sigils. Of course, I will be diving into proper character building later on in this guide as well. Endless Ragnarok places great importance on stunning enemies, and stun is actually the meta now as mentioned. Endgame enemies in post-game Chaos++ and Infinity have massive amounts of HP, so filling out the stun gauge as fast as possible and scoring frequent link time bursts is the key in here. So you've guessed it, stunner weapons can actually help you build your characters much faster since they can give you a level 20 stun trait right off the bat from the weapon alone. If you have the proper stun power sigils, go for defender type weapons. But if you lack the stun sigils, then you can never go wrong with stunner weapons. Now that you know which type of transcended weapons to choose from, the second mistake is not upgrading all of the said weapons in mid to late game progress. You might think that, oh right, I maxed out my first transcended weapons already, time to hit transcended ascension weapons. You can definitely do this and max your ascension first when the game finally allows you to do so. But don't ever disregard maxing out your remaining transcended weapons. I mentioned that you will be maxing all of them, right? It is because each transcended upgrade will unlock more exclusive weapon mastery nodes. And each of these weapon mastery nodes gives massive raw stats and even damage cap improvements. So if you decide to disregard your other basic transcended weapons, you are leaving a massive amount of performance or improvements off the table. Spreading your mastery traits and not taking advantage of style perk bonuses is a big mistake. As your master trait level reach level 30, you will be given the ability to slot in more traits and get more stats. It is easy to just get anything that catches your eye in here, like for example, increasing your raw attack or getting more damage cap sigils. And because of this, you tend to hop on different styles to get more perks, not knowing that you are wasting your chance to get broken style rank bonuses. Style rank perks or bonuses can give you even more significant upgrades. You can see here that each master style has different style perks, classified in different ranks. For example here, Narmaya can give me a huge boost by activating the style rank level 3 of the 1 cut and 1 kill master style. So what I will do here is focus on this style alone and make sure to activate all of the possible good traits that will complement my build. You can see here that as I unlock more traits under the 1 cut 1 kill master style, I'm also unlocking the major style rank perk bonus of each rank, which you can find at the left hand side of the screen. Once I activate all of the required traits to unlock the all style perks, it will look like this. But as you can see, I still have 3 rank 2 points that I can use, while 4 points are left for rank 3 traits. And this is the only time that I will be spending my remaining points on another master style. In this way, I have ensured that I have already maxed out the specific style or activated the priority traits that I need before I spend the remaining ones on second priority traits. Revenge of the Ooze quest is a much more upgraded Slimepeed mission that can give you millions of mastery points per hour. And this quest is already accessible in Chaos Plus difficulty, and it is easy for a beginner or even a seasoned returning player to think that this is the be-all and all spot when it comes to mastery points farming, and spend dozens of hours in this quest rather than progressing. Let me tell you, my dear viewer, that this is a huge waste of time. I see this spot only a pit stop and not a permanent solution. There is no doubt that Revenge of the Ooze quest gives you the best mastery points per hour, but leveling your mastery traits and skill tree is just one part of your character progression. Summon crystals are the real game changers in here, since these crystals can give your build 4 additional level 15 traits, like what you are seeing here, where the boss summon crystal Beelzebub can give me a level 15 Spartan Echo along with an insane damage cap. So if I equip this summon crystal, this means that the level 15 Spartan Echo and the equip bonus will apply to all of my characters, and I am now allowed to remove my Spartan Echo sigils from my characters and replace them with a completely new trait. And let me tell you, we can equip at least 4 summon crystals, so imagine how this will affect and adjust your builds big time, like what you are seeing in here. That's Free War Elemental, Berserker Echo, Spartan Echo, and Stout Heart applied to all of my characters, plus the mentioned damage caps. So why am I saying this? It is in your best interest to farm the post-DLC missions that can give you the decent amount of mastery points per hour while also giving you the chance to get broken summoning crystals. And the 4 Dragons of the Apocalypse quest in the Chaos Plus Plus difficulty is one of them. It gives you 511k MSP per hour while also giving you 280 Fortitude crystals large. It also gives you the following summoning crystals that can massively improve your builds. So as mentioned, it is in your best interest to gear up and be ready to farm these endgame missions, and other currencies such as mastery points and fortitude crystals will overflow without you paying attention to it. So stop wasting time in the Revenge of the Ooze quest. Did you know that you can manipulate the results of your Transmarvels, Sigil Synthesis, and Overmastery? And I cannot stress how much time you can save by just knowing this trick. Yes indeed, my dear viewer, the results of the said feature are predetermined in every single instance. Seasoned players know how to take advantage of this trick even in Endless Ragnarok. And here's the actual chart of how the reroll trick goes. And let's apply this to Transmarvels. So the trick here is to save hundreds of Transmarvels and save your game. Then use your charges and get high level sigils and right stones. If you don't want to do the results, just fire any quest that you can clear for 3 seconds. After the quest, do multiple Transmarvels and notice that you are finally getting different results. Just repeat the cycles to potentially get your desired sigils and right stones. Very useful in early DLC progression. Another huge mistake that many players make is disregarding their AI companions and just focusing on raising their main characters. And let me be clear on this one. Raising 3 fully built companions is optional, especially if you just want to play in multiplayer sessions or you don't really plan to stay in the game that long. But if you are the opposite and you plan to stay in the game like me for thousands of hours, then fully building 3 AI companions will greatly benefit you. I already mentioned summoning crystals, right? These are the real items that players are grinding for days just to get decent ones. And if you have fully built auto farming team, it can drastically lessen the grind for summoning crystals and give you passive gains during your downtime. While if you are a solo player, obviously you will be benefiting a lot by having a whole team of fully built characters. You can even use your AI companions to clear the hardest quests in the game, the Defy Infinity quest. And for the love of the game, don't ever throw or recycle your basic and supportive 5 sigils. Basic 5 sigils are stun power with second trait, health, attack, and critical rate. The same thing applies to support sigils, which covers nimble defense, aegis, greater aegis, and the like. But Samurai, these are outdated sigils. Why should I keep these? Let me tell you, my esteemed dear viewer, that the meta has changed in the DLC, and this will make sense when we talk about character building later on. But for now, save as many of these sigils as you can, and you will thank me later. Speaking of good sigils, There is no way that you are leaving upgrades off the table by not taking advantage of the new sigils introduced in the latest DLC. Fatebreaker is one of the non-negotiables for your builds currently. Fatebreaker will add a flat 50% attack increase, 5% defense, and 5% damage when participating in Fatebreaker quests or any Chaos difficulty missions. Keep in mind that summoning crystals can also give you the latest traits that the new sigils provides, so be on the lookout. Celestial Lumen gives your build 20% raw attack stat and a 70% damage cap increase when the user's HP is above 75%, which all of your character builds should have. I can argue that maintaining your HP above 75% even in active play is a manageable thing to do. Celestial Terra Sigil, on the other hand, will require you to sacrifice 30% of your character's HP for an additional 70% damage cap increase. The 30% drawback this sigil requires is rather minimal. Character builds can easily have 200k plus HP in the latest setups, so you can use this large pool of HP of yours as a workaround. Celestial Ventus will give a 10% straight damage multiplier to your build, in exchange for not receiving heals from other sources. This drawback is not really a big deal since your potions are more than enough to push you in fights, and healers in this game are really not mandatory. Making the wrong builds in Endless Ragnarok is a pretty common thing to do, so I will save you the headaches from here. And as mentioned previously, the meta has greatly changed when Endless Ragnarok hits the fan. If you are a returning player, forget almost everything that you've learned from the past when it comes to meta builds, and the build that you are seeing in here is pretty much outdated. And this was considered almost perfect in the base game or in the past. Returning players can pretty much get away with their outdated builds when progressing in the early stages of Endless Ragnarok. But when a character reaches Master Traits level 30, this is where the meta changes, and this is the perfect time to optimize your builds. Characters will have access to this specific trait where every basic sigil will add 20% damage cap increase in the master trait. And this is the reason why I ask you to not throw away your basic sigils such as the following. Priority sigils are being presented from left to right. Stun power holds significant importance because endgame enemies in post-game Chaos++ and Infinity have massive amounts of HP, so filling out the stun gauge as fast as possible and scoring frequent link time bursts is the key in here. Health sigils are second priority in here since there are a lot of damage modifiers or even damage cap upgrades that are based on your character's HP stat. Not to mention that you need to beef up your characters to avoid getting one-shot when running Infinity grade missions. Aside from the damage cap trait increase, Master Trait level 30 will let you access to defensive and support trait HP modifier trait. This adds 10k HP for every defensive and support type sigil slotted to your build. This is also the reason why I ask you to not throw away your defensive and support type sigils, since this is the one of the easiest way to access hundreds of thousands of HP in the end game. So combining all of the things you've learned so far, here's an example of a fully built AI character without the HP increase multipliers and focuses on pure offense. You can see the new Celestial Sigils slotted in and the basic ones such as the Stun Power and Health Sigils. If you are following the guide so far, you've already know the great importance of summoning crystals and how they can affect your builds greatly. Aside from the broken traits that they can give you, like the War Elemental trait or Spartan Echo traits, pay attention to the equipment bonus they provide. In my series of testing, it is highly suggested that you balance out your normal attack damage and skill attack damage cap passives, so you can output a well-balanced damage across the board. It is worth noting that these damage caps can go up to a whopping 100% damage cap increase. But as mentioned previously, these stones are rare as hell, so be prepared to farm for days. I will be covering the best farming spots soon, so stay tuned for that. The greatest mistake that beginners and returning players keep on doing is not really understanding how the damage cap mechanic works. This is arguably the most important thing that you should be learning if you want to make the best builds out there. Even if you have the best weapons, the best summoning crystals, or even the best skill rotations in the world, all of those are pretty useless if you don't know how to manage your damage caps. Even if your raw attack stat is taller than the Eiffel Tower, you will be dealing the same damage over and over. So let me run down the basics for you. Endless Ragnarok will bombard you with raw attack stat from different sources, such as from the master trait level or weapon trait bonuses. So you don't really need to use any kind of raw attack increasing sigil or trait like Tyranny, Stamina, Combo Booster, and the like, especially in the early game. your damage cap can't simply keep up with your raw attack stat, so your main focus instead is increasing your overall damage cap. This means that you will want to get every trait that increases your damage cap from different sources such as summoning crystals and master traits. Terminus weapons is still the best weapon overall, since the Catastrophe Nova weapon trait can give you a whopping 500% damage cap increase at level 35. Cygames was very kind enough to give us a way to measure if we are dealing the most damage possible, or in other words, if we are managing our damage caps and overflows wisely. By pressing the left and right directional buttons in a training dummy, you can convert your raw damage to damage cap percentage instead. And I will try to explain this as simply as I can. Listen carefully on this one. Your goal is to make the percentage to hit 100%. Dealing 100% means dealing the most ideal damage possible in your current build without any kind of damage overflow. To put this into practice, here's my Jita without any sigils equipped with her. Notice that we are dealing 50 to 59 damage, right? This means that I do lack the raw attack stat to reach the 100% mark. So what I need to do here is to slot in the level 30 Tyranny and Stamina trait to increase my raw attack stat. Going back to the training dummy, notice here that I am now hitting 130% to 150% because of the raw attack stat that we just added to the build. This is not actually good in any sense, since that 30% and 50% damage excess from the 100% is considered as wasted damage, or what we call damage overflow. And this is the perfect time to slot in more damage cap sigils. And in this example, I slotted in multiple damage cap sigils and maxed out the trait to level 65. And because of that, notice that my damage percentage is now greatly lessened to 80 to 90%. So I can now add a few raw attack stat to my build to score way close to 100% and deal the most optimal damage specifically for this setup. These tips will save you hundreds of hours of potential wasted time. But what if you want to learn even more tips to have the best start possible in Endless Ragnarok? Click this beginner guide pack with essential tips. And with that, I'm the Samurai. Thank you for watching and I will catch you on the next one.